Welcome to the Conversation Colons podcast. I'm your host, Damien, my co-host, Jared.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Halloween special.
Spooky
Season's here. Obviously, we are in person. Sorry if I'm, close. It's just because I'm trying to speak into the mic. Happy Halloween. This comes out Friday, so obviously there's 2 days till Halloween, but still, hopefully you have a good one. Jared, why don't you take us into the Brewskis of the week?
So this week, as always, I've got a good old Smirnoff pink lemonade. Oh, the light is not good right now. Holy shit. You know what?
You want to turn this one off?
Nope, I'm going to turn the lamp off. That's what I always do, and I fucking forgot to. It's going to be a little darker, but that's going to be better lighting, hopefully.
I'm also rocking a Smirnoff pink lemonade.
Is that better? Does the light pick up a little better?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so much nicer. Look at that.
Alrighty, so let's get right into it. Before we get into our Halloween special where we are ranking our top 10 horror movies that we've seen, there's a few things we have to talk about. So Halo dropped their, I don't know, it was like 8-minute campaign footage. So Jared, what did you think of that as a big Halo fan?
So the campaign footage was fucking great, as you know. We watched it with Cody, I believe. Is who we watched it with? Yeah, we were watching it and I watched together. It was fucking fantastic looking. I am beyond excited for Halo. As a matter of fact, there were a few times where Cody kept making comments and you kept making comments. I kept muting it because I wanted to just hear what was going on. And I believe I said that I'm going to take off for 2 weeks after, take off for work for 2 weeks when this game comes out because I want to play it so much. And yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited. What do you feel like?
As when we were watching it, I was saying the whole time, oh my god, this is finally a Halo that I feel like is going to be good this year. I like what they did with the campaign. It looks a lot sleeker. It looks better. I like that it's open world, kind of like how the first missions were for Halo.
Even when they crash landed in the first game?
Yeah, the first mission, Halo Reach, how it's open, ended. It's just a big open map that you can kind of go and do whatever you want. So that's cool, but it's just a big open world. So it should be good, hopefully. It looked great. Obviously it comes out in a month. Yeah, almost a month. And, the multiplayer looks good. This looks good. Hopefully their Forge mode is good, and they got a great Halo on them.
They also released a not campaign, gameplay trailer. It was, what'd they call it? It was some Reckoning of the Banished or something like that.
Where they kind of introduced them.
It was basically showing off, remember what they did with Halo 5 where they had the decide your fate, and it was sometimes Locke was killing Chief, sometimes Chief was killing Locke. I don't want to call it a propaganda ad, but that's what it seems like to me with the Banished, you're doomed, we killed everyone. You think that some person in some armor is going to do anything about it, and it's showing you Chief's armor. It was a really good watch. I mean, it's not anything gameplay related, but it's just more Halo, which is what everyone wants right now.
Those old Halo ads for Halo 5 were really good.
They were.
They really sold the game for such a dog shit game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that looked really good. And then Sony had they called it a PlayStation showcase. That's what they call it. But it was for third party games. They didn't really show much. All that I know is all that I cared about that they showed was the Five Nights at Freddy's game. That's that open map kind of thing that they showed last year, where the animatronics are chasing around the actual
Oh, it's more. You're not just sitting in the thing. I do.
It's kind of like Outlast, but with animatronics. That comes out next month.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so that is something. I think it's on PlayStation and PC. So hopefully we'll see that. And then another thing, PlayStation has formed the PlayStation PC label. So now they are actually going to focus more on PC games and hopefully get PC ports of their games quicker on the platform.
Is that why we're seeing God of War coming in PC?
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
So yeah, hope the last big one they have is Spider-Man. That's the last big one that they have to release. And I feel like if it's going to release, it's going to release a few months before the second one comes out in 2 years.
Well, the thing is, you'll never catch me dead complimenting Sony, but I think this is a step in the right direction, letting people on PC play some of their exclusives.
Yeah.
Hopefully that does a lot. I mean, we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. We were playing DayZ and bullshitting about this God of War thing, and you were you're gonna get it, right? And it's I might, I want to play it, but I don't know. Like, I've seen people play it already. Like, I feel like I've already got the experience. But if it's not too expensive, maybe I will. We'll see.
Yep. Hopefully it's good. It's all like the ports and everything. Like, I know or not the Uncharted, the Horizon one had a little bit of bugs at launch. I know the Days Gone one's been pretty decent.
Yeah, you played that on PC, didn't you?
No, I played it on PS5.
Oh, you did?
Cody's got it on PS
it's
or
Cody's,
PC as well.
PC.
So yeah, and then our final topic before we get to our movies, it is Call of Duty. They released a huge long, like, it's kind of weird. It's like patch notes for a beta that's going to be the base game. So just to kind of go through everything that they changed for multiplayer. In the beta, when you would get shot, you would get like, or when you get shot at, you get like this distortion around your gun. They took that out. They also took out how much muzzle flash your gun has, because there was a lot of guns in the beta where like you would shoot and you couldn't see what you were shooting at, which is realistic, but it doesn't make it for a good COD. You know what I mean?
And with the whole like the distortion that Damien's referring to here, that if anyone here has played Tarkov, that's kind of what it's like when you get shot and your screen gets all fucky for a minute. That's kind of what it was like. But I don't know if it was nearly as extreme as Tarkov.
And then they fixed a bunch of like other like things like names popping through buildings and stuff, which is just whatever. They fixed a lot of the like footstep sounds. So when in the beta, if you were aimed down sight or crouching or just walking, you still made a sound. They fixed that. Now you're silent. So that's also a good one.
So is it going to be silent like Modern Warfare silent, or is it going to be like Cold War silent, where it's like you can still hear the footsteps?
I'm sure it's like you're still going to be able to hear them faintly, but if you're crouching, like it still gives you an advantage.
That would be cool then.
They say they fixed the spawns. Because a lot of the spawns in the beta were very unpredictable, and they would just spawn on you. And they said that they fixed the spawn logic, which every Call of Duty developer says that. Wow. So we'll see with that. Let's see. So yeah, they made shotguns better, which of course they did.
Of course, after it's become such a problem in Cold War now.
They made the shotgun, SMGs, and pistols. Oh no, they nerfed SMGs and pistols.
What?
At range.
Oh, okay.
And shotguns also have worse range.
That's good.
Hip fire spread was adjusted on most guns. They the trade-offs on barrels and magazines and stocks attachments have been reduced. So like some of the barrels, if you put it on, it would give you like minus 10 movement speed. I'm sure they probably just put that to minus 5. They also talked about the smoke grenade. You're fully hidden from distant enemies, but can be seen at closer ranges, allowing you to close the distance between you and the enemy and hunt them down. And then perks, they removed low profile, which I don't remember what that really did in the beta.
I don't either.
But they replaced that with ninja, which gives you dead silence. Yeah. So it's not a field upgrade anymore. So yeah, and then they kind of announced a lot of their Season 1 stuff. They're putting Shipment into the game, like, immediately, which of course they are. I mean, I have fun on Shipment, but Jesus Christ.
I think my favorite thing about Shipment was playing Gunfight. Gunfight.
Yeah, Gunfight was really good.
That was fun.
So you can preload the game on PS4 and PS5 October 28th, which it's already passed, so you can do that right now. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things coming to this. Console gets an FOV slider finally. And then they announced the new Warzone map, which is like Warzone Pacific. But Warzone's dog shit, so it's whatever.
Exactly. Fuck Warzone.
So yeah, that's really it for like Call of Duty and what they announced. Battlefield also announced a new map. It's like a Paracel Storm kind of map.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, let's get into our Halloween special. Last week we said we were going to do our top 10 horror movies that we've seen. A little bit of a tangent, or not a tangent, but there is some thriller movies in here. but they're considered thriller / horror, so they go in there. But Jared, let's start off with your number 10.
All right, so mine aren't in order, so I'm just going to read them off.
Okay, and we'll talk about them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we want to go through all 10, or just want to do one at a time each way?
Let's do one at a time.
All right. Well, my first one I have on here is going to be Scream.
Okay.
I mean, Scream is one. I know I haven't seen it in a long time, but I know I've seen the whole thing because, like, if anyone brings up a scene from Scream, I go, oh, I do remember that. Scream is just, it's an overall good, like, horror movie, especially for me. Like, I haven't seen it in so long. I know rewatching it, there'd be things be like catching me off guard. But I remember when I did first watch it, there are a few things that really, like, surprised me with this one. That one, the one thing is going to be the killers, like the two killers. Because I don't remember at what point it's revealed that there's two, but when you find out, to me it was, like, mind-blowing because it made so much of the stuff that didn't make sense, which is, it's a fun part of that movie.
Yeah. I'll talk about Scream later for my thoughts, but my number 10 is Insidious.
Ooh.
But I have a little caveat to it. Like, it's Insidious on the first watch.
Okay.
Because I feel like when you watch Insidious for the first time, it is, like, very thrilling. It is very tense. And I think the jump scares, yes, towards the end, they do get a little much. But I feel like a lot of the ones that they set up in the beginning and the middle of the movie actually really cool. And then the demon-like creature that steals the boy, that's listening to Tiptoe Through the Tulips. He's a really cool character, and I like the way he looks. So Insidious is always one of those movies that, like, I still have fun watching, but it's not like... That's why I wanted to preference it, because if you've seen the movie and you watch it again, it's not as scary, but I feel like it still does a pretty decent job. What's your next one?
Excuse me. So my next one is going to be The Invisible Man from 1933, not the new one. And the reason I added this one is because I was trying to think of good horror movies, and I actually thought of this movie thinking it was, like, just a scary movie, but I had to go through one. I'm sorry, not a scary movie. And I went and Googled it to make sure, and it is. It's classified as horror. I actually just watched this movie for the first time. So it was either early this year or late last year. I was hanging out with my fiance. By the way, that's a thing I'll have to talk about at some point in the podcast. Hanging out with her parents in her house, and we had just had a meal, and we sat down and watched TV, and we watched The Invisible Man all the way through. And it was, I mean, it's an older film, so there's a lot of stuff to it that's like, oh, it's an old movie. Like, you can see this, you can see that, whatever. I thought it was a very, very good movie. The panic that is caused from the Invisible Man's existence in this town that it takes place in, and how the people react, I think it's very interesting. I don't know. I've only seen parts of the new one, so I'm not sure how much it's similar to the newer one, or if it's even meant to be related or not. But I think this is a fantastic movie, and from what little I have seen from the new one, I think this one's better.
New one's like, it's related, but not really. It's kind of a different story, but the same take.
Well, doesn't he have, like, a suit in the new one? The one,
yeah.
It's 2021 release, right? It was early this year.
It's like 2019.
Was it 2019? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but great movie. It was one that, for being that old, being in black and white, I was surprised by how much I liked it. So yeah, that's my next one there.
Yeah, a really good movie. I saw it a while ago in films class.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because we were watching a lot of movies. They kind of like started the horror genre, and monster movies were a big part of that back in the day. And we watched Charlie Chaplin films, so we watched that and The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Those were like the two that we really focused in on and did like studies about. My next one is Nocturnal Animals. It is a Tom Ford directed movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. This movie's really cool because it's on Netflix. The premise of the movie is, so Amy Adams is in it, and her and Jake Gyllenhaal are together, and she does certain things to Jake Gyllenhaal throughout the movie, and then like the movie kind of stops there and fast forwards, and Jake Gyllenhaal sends her like this book that he wrote, and the book's like a reinterpretation of what she did to him, but in a more horrifying way. Like his family gets captured, raped, murdered, and he feels hopeless during the movie. So when I first watched that movie, it really shocked me to the core. And it's such an interesting take. And I love Jake Gyllenhaal, so I mean, put him on anything. But yeah, Nocturnal Animals. Watch it on Netflix. It's really good.
Speaking of Jake Gyllenhaal, did you see the new movie that he's doing?
Ambulance.
Yeah, it looks really fucking good.
It looks really good. I'm gonna see it.
When I saw that trailer for that, I was like, damn, this like looks fucking sweet.
It's Michael Bay.
Is it?
But I'll see it. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was Michael Bay. I must have missed that part. All right, well, for my next movie, I've got The Cabin in the Woods. This one...
2014, I think.
Was it 2014?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Dude,
been a long time.
We're getting so old.
I know. It's sad.
Oh, God. Well, ironically enough, we were actually... Well, I don't know if you were here, but the other night, we were sitting talking to Jordan, who was on the podcast last week. He was the one who won the game show. He was talking to me about The Cabin in the Woods, which I thought was very interesting because he brought it up, like, hours after I'd finished my list, and he was talking about like the ending and stuff and what he thought of the movie, and it was really interesting hearing his take on it because I thought the movie was more of a kind of a spoof on horror movies, but like still keeping the horror, like it was making fun of horror movies, but keeping the like there's still horror involved in it, obviously, like like there's like the tropes and stuff, but anyway, but yeah, hearing his take on it, which he thought that it was meant to be just pure horror, it wasn't supposed to be a spoof, and then they kind of like fucked it at the end. Like it was kind of like he used a very, very interesting way he put it. I forget how he put it, but basically saying you took a great movie, like it was decent throughout and then you ruin it at the end. And he said it was something funny the way he put it, but it's a great movie. Chris Hemsworth's in it. It's the idea of it, I believe, is that it's like a secret government facility involved. They go trying to survive and they end up escaping and all that fun shit.
Yeah, really cool scene at the end where like they're showing like the different chambers that they keep the creatures in, and you can see like a bunch of different, like obviously they're play on like actual horror villains. Like there's someone who looks like Jason, and there's people who look like a giant spider and a giant snake and shit like that. So it's really cool, and it is a very interesting take because like what Chris Hemsworth's going through, like I believe he does one where it's like a take on Evil Dead. It's a very like tongue-in-cheek movie, but I feel like you're right. It does do a very like good job of playing the parody, but also keeping it like as its own film.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. My next one is It from 1990, the Tim Curry version, the TV movie one. I put this on here just because of how terrifying Tim Curry's Pennywise was. And so many kids grew up scared of clowns because of him. And I think overall the first part is really good, really solid. Even though it's a TV movie, there's no blood, there's no guts. Like, it's still pretty scary for younger kids. And even when I watch it now, like, Tim Curry does a really good job, like, being this really, like, cheesy but scary clown alien thing. I don't know if this is on... I don't know what streaming service it's on. I know Sci-Fi streams it a lot, but it's really worth watching. I think it's still my favorite It movie over even the new one because Tim Curry is just so good. But yeah, that's my number 8.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. So my next one's going to be Halloween 2018. I was going to put like one of the earlier Halloweens, but I just... So this list is supposed to be 10 horror movies that we've seen, and I genuinely cannot remember if I've seen any of the ones before this. And I know I've seen this one, and I also know that I liked it. I like the... See, I'm going to say this. I like the fact that they're bringing back older characters, and I feel like I shouldn't say that because I don't remember if I've seen the older ones, but I feel like I have. I feel like there was a point when I was younger where I definitely sat down and watched the older ones with my parents. And so the big thing is like him coming back. It's Michael. I almost called him Jason. Michael Myers comes back, and he... I don't know if it was escapes or like finds a way or like
he escapes.
But was it an accident or was it he planned it?
I think they kind of set it up to where he plans it.
Yeah, so he like plans an escape out of the it wasn't like a prison. It was like
a psych ward.
Yeah, psych ward, asylum, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He gets out and just goes right back to doing what he does best. He goes right back to killing. It's good. I mean, I went and saw this on like a little bit of a double date. We went and saw it, and it was a great movie. Fun. We saw around this time of year last year. No, sorry, the year it came out. So that's 3 years ago. That's how long ago.
Yeah, 2018.
Jesus Christ. So, good movie. I don't think it lives up to the originals from what I remember of them, but I still think it's a damn good movie.
So, my number 7 is Shutter Island, directed by Martin Scorsese with Leonardo DiCaprio. This is one of those movies that's really a thriller, but I think a lot of the aspects that his character goes through is horrifying. Obviously, with the revelation at the end where you find out that his wife basically killed, well, didn't actually killed, sorry.
Was a murderer.
Yeah, killed his 2 children, and he kind of had to live with that, sit there and think that it was his fault, and then obviously he did what he did to her. And I think the truly like horrifying thing that he does is at the end of the movie, he just can't live with himself, so he continues playing his little game, even though he knows, just so he can get lobotomized.
And forget.
Yeah, it's such a good movie, such a good twist.
Did he shoot her or drown her?
I
thought he shot her in the stomach and killed her. But now I'm thinking...
I don't think he drowned her.
Because she drowned the kids, right?
Yeah, and then he went into the water and grabbed the kids' bodies.
That's right. So he didn't drown her next.
I think he shot her.
Yeah, I would have shot the bitch down.
I would have killed her immediately.
Fuck yeah.
I would have drowned her too. Fuck
every time I've seen that movie, at some point my dad asks me, like, what the fuck are you going to do if you come home and your bitch is drowning your kids? I'm like, well, you're going to have to fucking kill the bitch, right? Like, if you come home and she's starting to dunk the kids in the bathtub, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. You're going to have to Chris Benoit her.
Yeah, you're going to fucking... What'd you say?
Chris Benoit her.
The fuck is that?
You don't know Chris Benoit?
No.
He was that pro wrestler who had such a bad roid rage attack that he went home and killed his wife and his kids.
So no, because I'm not going to kill the kids. I'm just going to kill the wife.
Well, I'm just saying, he killed his wife. Whatever.
That's fuck. I've not heard of that. That was crazy.
Yep.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm just going to do mine at Shutter Island. That's next. I also had Shutter Island on my list. Fucking same reasons Damien just said, except I love the idea of the movie. The fact that because it's been a minute since I've seen it. I think it's been about a year since I've seen it. And I believe he believes the whole time that he is this detective. And they make you believe it for a while there, too. It isn't until probably more than halfway through the movie that you realize he isn't. Like, unless you're paying attention to certain cues throughout, that like once you go back and rewatch it, you can see.
Yeah.
Like he believes he's this detective, and when you start seeing that he knows, it's like really sad. Like it's a wonderful performance by Leonardo DiCaprio, as always. I mean, he's phenomenal in most of the movies he's in. Mark Ruffalo and
Ben.
Is it Ben? I was gonna say Ben DiNucci. Doesn't sound right.
That's a Cowboys quarterback.
Yeah, that's not right.
Ben DiNucci.
Fuck.
He
doesn't he play what's his face in Iron Man 3?
Yeah, he was in Prince of Persia.
Yeah. Fuck, what is his name?
He has a giant mole on his head.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, as supporting cast, they're both fantastic.
Yep.
Shutter Island's great. I'm happy that that's one that's on both our lists.
My next one is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, not the shitty remake. I think with Freddy, he's definitely like a truly horrifying character when it comes to the first movie, just because, I mean, literally you can't get away from him unless you stay awake, and it's truly horrifying. This is also like one of the only movies, like when I was younger, I had a hard time watching. And I loved horror movies when I was younger, but sitting there thinking, like, holy shit, like, this guy's just in my dreams. I'm powerless. I think a lot of the scenes are great in it. Obviously, I think the scene that really, like, is truly horrifying for me is when the girl goes out in the alleyway and his arms, like, stretch super long. I don't know why, but that scene's always got me. So, yeah, that's definitely up there. So, that's my number 6.
Yeah, that was a rough watch for me, too. I always hated watching that movie. So my next one is going to be Paranormal Activity, the 2007, the
original one,
first one, the original one. So that one, the first time watching it, I thought was absolutely terrifying. I
saw it in theaters, by the way.
Yeah, you've told me that. You've seen it in theaters. I don't think I saw it. I think we saw it at home. But yeah, first time watching that, I didn't like that movie. The fact that it was like this super strong, powerful demon, or do they call it a poltergeist, or do they call it a demon, whatever?
I think they call it a demon.
Yeah, but you can't see it. The fact that it's 110% invisible, you never see it. I think in the later movies you might get a glimpse of it at some point. That is what scared me, because like when I was little, like whenever I had a nightmare, it was always like something that I couldn't see dragging me down a hallway, and I never knew why I had those nightmares. And so seeing this movie like kind of rehash that shit in my head, didn't fucking like it very much. And I thought the story was pretty interesting. As you get into the rest of them and develop the story, it's not as bad. The most recent one, I think we talked about before. I call it like the Paranormal in the Hood or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though that's not what it's called. I thought that was the last one. I believe there's a trailer for a new one.
So the marked ones is where like there's a bunch of like they're in a Hispanic community.
Yes.
And then there's one after that.
No, that's the last one. But there's a new one coming out.
No, that was the last one. There's one more like after that one.
But there is a new one, right? I'm not crazy. There's not a trailer for a new one coming out? He's Googling it right now. Hold up.
Yeah, the Ghost Dimension was the last one.
Oh.
And that's the one where she has like the giant like hole in her wall. Because it shows them as kids.
Oh, then I haven't seen that one. Okay.
Yeah, that one's, if I remember right, it's not terrible. I really like the first one. I really like the scenes that they show.
The first one was so good.
I love the scene where they put like, I don't know if it was salt or like powder just on the floor, and when they go to sleep, you can hear and see the footprints like slamming down, getting closer and closer to them. And then
it was a good depiction of like showing him.
Yeah. And then just, I mean, obviously it has like an infamous ending where, you know, he goes down there, and they ruined it with the marked ones where they show like the back like ground scenes. Because remember the two kids go into their house and she's screaming at them, not the demon. And it kind of connects to that in the first movie.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't watch the marked ones...
But it was a play because the demon was like possessing her to do that.
Right, yeah.
I forgot about that. Holy shit.
But yeah, obviously like him getting shot like back into the camera and like everything like that was a pretty good moment.
Yeah, because doesn't the boyfriend come rushing down to help her when she is screaming, and that's like when it ends, was right after that. Yeah.
Very iconic movie. I feel like it brought like the found footage, like horror genre.
I never really seen like a found footage one before.
Well, because it was like Blair Witch, and then there was a lot of smaller movies like Grave Encounters and stuff. And then you got to Paranormal Activity, and then like finally like one that could actually make money.
Yep.
And then they made 6 of them. So
yeah, it was Paranormal Activity, like I said, great movie. And I know I talked about this the last time we talked about horror movies. I like all of the Paranormal Activity movies because it's a series that just my dad and I have watched, and we thought like they were all good. But also, like, we found them funny because, like, the jump scares are always, like, oh, it made us jump. Like, we're little bitches. But I really like, I don't know, I always mix it up. But I know in the first one it doesn't happen. It's in the second one where the chick in the first one goes to the house of the people in the second one and then just snaps the dude's neck on the couch right at the end. That scene always reminds me of the first one, but I know it's not the first one.
I think it's the one where they kill a dog, too.
Yeah.
They, like, drag the dog into the closet or the basement and stuff.
They don't show you. Yeah.
And at the end of that one, she like takes the child out the crib and then walks out.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is The Conjuring.
Oh.
I think The Conjuring's one of the best horror movies made in a while, especially like ghost / like possession kind of movies. The scene, I mean, there's technically 2 of them, but you know, the scene where they're playing that hide and seek game and you have to find the person by the other person clapping, and your eyes are shut. Like that whole tense moment where you can see the ghost put its hands out, it claps in the closet, and she like walks up to it, and there's nothing there, and then she obviously later on in the movie goes into the basement, and when she's walking back up the stairs, the lights shut out, and then you can hear that same ghost clapping behind her.
I've never seen that, so that sounds terrifying.
You've never seen The Conjuring?
No. That sounds fucking horrifying. I'm glad I've never seen it. That sounds
so we're watching after this, right?
No, we're not. Nope.
Yeah, we'll
are.
See.
Maybe.
Anyways, it's really thrilling. I think the ending like act is really good. Um, so yeah, The Conjuring, directed by James Wan, who directed Aquaman. It's really good. It's definitely a good watch. I believe both of them are on Netflix.
Is that a newer movie?
Conjuring was 2015.
Damn.
2014,
okay.
2015.
I was thinking Conjuring was like the 80s or some shit.
Remember the Shia LaBeouf meme where the woman went down the stairs and he's like, "You can like just do it," and then she was like horrified and run up the stairs?
Yeah.
That's The Conjuring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, what's your next one?
All right, my next one is actually one that we all just watched for the podcast, and that's going to be Wreck.
Really?
2007. Yeah. I told you when we watched it, I thought that was like the best one we've seen for the month of scary movies. I meant that. That was a very, very good movie. I think the only one that really contested with it, the ones we watched, was the Megan Fox one that I don't remember the name of.
Till Death, yeah.
Till Death. But this one, in terms of like horror, was just a fantastic movie. And I think one of the reasons that it sat so well with me was because it was one that, because I didn't know anything about it going in, you didn't tell me anything going in. When I found out, as I started seeing the signs and seeing like, oh wait a minute, like this is like a zombie movie,
right?
In a way, it just threw me off because like I've never really seen a zombie movie that had like this much horror to it,
right?
The only one I can like even remotely kind of compare, and even this I don't even think is that fair, is Shaun of the Dead, but that's more of a comedy,
right? Yeah,
but I still think there are some like kind of horror-esque aspects. But yeah, great fucking movie. I was shocked by how good it was, and it's on this list because it was that goddamn good.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a slow start. It's in Spanish,
yeah.
But when that like first body drops from like the top floor, from that point on, that movie is just going.
Well, even then, I feel like right before that, it starts. It's super slow, and then the dude is bleeding from the neck badly.
Yeah.
And it starts to ramp up, and it's like, oh shit, like this is getting there, and all of a sudden it's like a slow incline, and it's like, oh, body falls straight up. Like,
yeah,
that's
and
pretty much
it doesn't stop at all.
No,
and
it's shockingly like
the final like scene where they are is also really well done.
Yeah,
and is like when I watched it for the first time, it was like, holy shit, like this is intense. So yeah, Wreck's really good. Mm-hmm. My number 4 is The Thing by John Carpenter. I reviewed this a few weeks ago, or it was in September, so it was 2 months ago. September like 7th when the 4K came out. So I reviewed it then. I'll just give quick thoughts. I mean, John Carpenter's great at doing simplistic movies. It's in a snowy setting. There's a monster that can transform into people. The visual effects are still, to this day, some of the best I've ever seen. Kurt Russell does well in that movie as well, acting-wise. And what I love about this movie is at the end, you don't know who is, or if there even are, the alien creature. And the movie doesn't give you an answer. It just, is it Kurt Russell or the other guy? Like, you decide however you want to feel, you know?
Is The Thing the one where it starts off where there's, like, a bunch of Norwegian people screaming at a dog?
Yes, they're chasing the dog, shooting at it from a helicopter.
Yeah.
Because the dog is that creature.
Yeah. And then the Americans, like, try to save him or some shit.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie, and I've seen a lot about it, and I want to see it because it sounds really good. But I've seen a bunch of, like, memes, for whatever reason, about that opening scene. So, where did I know that?
It's because they kept missing the dog. It's like, dog, come on, hit the shot.
Yeah, come on, dog, hit the dog.
Yeah. What is yours?
All right, my next one is going to be 1408, the 2007. I don't know if there's another one.
With Samuel Jackson?
Yes, with Samuel Jackson and John Cusack. The reason I say the 2007 one is because when I went and was looking up this movie, because I couldn't remember the fucking name of it, because that was driving me nuts, it says, in parentheses next to it, 2007, so I assumed there was another one. Didn't look, didn't care to check. Yeah, 1408 is, from what I remember about it, because I know I've only seen it once, and I also know it's been multiple years, it was fucking terrifying. And I know that there are a few scenes, like, I don't know if the walls bled, or if it was, like, ectoplasm coming out of the walls, but there's a scene where, like, John Cusack's in the room, and there's, like, just shit coming out the walls, or something. And that was, like, one of the major scenes that I remember that scared me. But I thought it was a good movie. I don't remember Samuel L. Jackson's part in it at all. I only remember John Cusack being in it and him being like the
I think
main
Samuel is like more of a
supporting.
Supporting side character.
Because if I remember correctly, the movie, like almost the whole movie, takes place in the room. It's like the first few minutes, and then the like last few minutes are outside the room, but the whole thing is in there. Correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, great movie. I want to rewatch it because I don't remember the whole thing, but I know I've seen it. It was a fucking awesome movie. Scary though. I didn't like scary movies when I was younger, and that's the last time I saw this.
Yeah. My number 3 is the original Halloween. Once again, I reviewed this a few weeks ago. It's probably the greatest slasher movie ever made. Spawned all the slasher movies that we have today, like Scream, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just, it's a very simplistic movie. It is a guy who is just killing to kill. A lot of the scenes, especially in the final act where he's chasing Laurie, are some of the like most perfect horror scenes made. Like when she's in the house and you can slowly see Michael's like mask come into frame from the darkness, or when she finally thinks she defeats Michael and you can see his body in the background, all of a sudden he like Undertaker like shoots up and obviously goes after her. It's really great. I can't say much that hasn't already been said, but Halloween's my number 3.
Absolutely. So my next one, I'm going to be honest with you, the last few I kind of got a little desperate because I was really running out of movies that I knew that I wanted to add to this list, because there's movies I've seen but I didn't think deserved the list. So this next one is going to be Grave Encounters 2.
God, I haven't seen that in so long.
Grave Encounters, first of all, both movies are great. Grave Encounters 2 was fucking awesome. I loved what they did with essentially extending the story of the first one and bringing in this cast who's like, yeah, like we think Grave Encounters is fake, so we're in here to like fucking prove it is real or isn't. And they go through and do the same shit the first group did, and then they actually find the leader who's the leader of the first group who's still alive after all this time, which was super fucking cool. I believe he like eat a rat at some point.
Yeah, is the second one where they find the doors and they realize that they're in like kind of this parallel?
And the only way to get out is the dude has to kill his girlfriend, and like and then he's getting interviewed at the end, and he's like, they're like, it's super realistic, like people are accusing you of like actually murdering the people in the movie, and he goes, no man, of course I didn't. And he like looks at the camera, he's like, no, I didn't do that. So Grave Encounters 2, fucking great movie. We watched that multiple times when we had sleepovers here back in the day. You, me, fucking Jordan, maybe.
Yeah, I think great. Tyler.
Yep. A lot of fun. So that's my second to last one there.
My second one is Scream. Still waiting on the 4K to release. I think it's the greatest slasher besides Halloween to be made. I love how it talks about the horror genre and plays the tropes very well. A lot of the misdirection still holds up today. Like, in the movie they kind of set up Billy as the killer, and then they like prove that he's not in its own way. You basically think Billy dies, and then he comes back, he's like, oh no, we set this up, here's this great master plan. And I just love the guessing game that it makes you play. Also, the first like scene, that whole part, is one of the scariest / best opening scenes to a horror movie, period. And I mean, it's just, I think the cast is perfectly directed and casted, and it's an all-timer. I can't wait for the new one. God, It better be good.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of excited to see it, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Alrighty, what's your last one?
So my final one here is just going to be Grave Encounters, the first one. I told you. Like I said, reaching for the bottom of the barrel. But I say that, but actually fucking great movie. I mean, same thing. Like I said before, we watched this one at sleepovers all the time when we were younger. It was one of those like, oh, it's a scary movie, let's watch it, and it turned out to be like one of the better like scary movies we've seen. I know Damien had mentioned earlier like found footage type thing, which I feel like, now I'm thinking about it, found footage movies like really grab my attention, I think.
Yeah, they have a certain like realism aspect to it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's just, it feels not, I don't want to say like better, but like it feels more satisfying when it comes to like getting that scare out of you. And Grave Encounters was good. I actually, when I think about it, I don't remember the people who were in this one other than the leader. I only remember people who were in the second one.
I remember the chick.
I don't at all.
I think she had like spiky hair.
Dude, I don't know. I believe the first one is the one where someone dies from falling out the window.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like the only thing I fucking need to rewatch the first one.
Sad
so
they
bad.
took that off Netflix.
I know. I
So
literally have to pay for it to see it now, which is bullshit. That might be one I like just buy the DVD and then a DVD player, since I don't fucking have one of those right now. But yeah, that's my last one. What about you?
All right, my last one is The Shining with Jack Nicholson, directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Son of a bitch.
I've talked about this movie a lot. The 4K movie that came out a while ago is great. It's regarded as one of the best 4Ks. I mean, it's the master of suspense directing this movie. Jack Nicholson also plays the character so well. A lot of these scenes, like where Jack goes into the infamous room and there's that really hot chick, and then it flips and she's like this old moldy chick. Obviously with Danny strolling around on his little tricycle thing and seeing the twins, like there's so many iconic moments, and I just love this movie because it's a slow burn, but I think when the moments hit, they hit harder and have more of an impact because it's such like a condensed story. There's 3 people in this hotel, and it's making them go crazy basically, and the hotel is its own character.
Yep.
And I just love all the scenes where he goes into the Golden Bar and he's imagining, or if you think the hotel's having these goes, he starts drinking again. That starts getting him back in his old habits. He starts turning into this monster. It's so good. It's so good. I love the movie so much.
Yeah, that's one that I have not seen in like all the way through. I haven't seen the whole movie ever, so I didn't include it in my list. But I looked at it, I was like, I should include it because I know like what I have seen, I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not going to do that, and I'm like, and I shouldn't, because when I was reading about The Shining, it said it was mostly thriller. I don't remember seeing anything about horror. It was like a thriller. So I was like, I'd feel bad adding it anyway. So I was like, you motherfucker, you added this one.
Yeah, it's
a good movie. I can't.
It's definitely like ghost horror.
Yeah.
Because there's like, I don't even know if you can consider it possession, but they do take over his mind. I guess towards the end, like the hotel basically becomes Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was thinking I almost added in, but I didn't want to because I didn't feel it was like good enough. Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
I almost added that in, but like, it felt wrong doing it. And also, for whatever reason, every time we talk about Ghost Ship,
13 Ghosts.
What?
Sorry, continue.
It reminds me of Man of Medan.
Well, because it's basically the same, a lot of like same tropes.
It's really very similar.
That new one that came out, House of Ashes. That's like, you ever seen that movie? I forget what it's called, but it's that all girl group, and they like go down into this cave, and there's a bunch of monsters that come after them. I forget the name of it. Anyways, it's just like that. But yeah, Ghost Ship's really good. 13 Ghosts is really good.
Never seen that one.
13 Ghosts has Shaggy in it from like the live action Scooby Doo.
Matthew Lillard. He's also in Scream.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I just like to call him Shaggy because
that's fair.
He plays Shaggy and everything. But yeah, that movie's funny and good.
You've just said Ghost so many times, it has me thinking of the new Ghostbusters movie for whatever reason.
I've seen some reviews for that, and apparently it's not that bad.
Is it out?
No, but people have already put reviews out. If only I didn't hate Ghostbusters.
Right.
I'd probably see it.
I might see this new one, because I didn't see the new one, or the one before that with...
it was like Rebel Wilson and stuff.
All the women. I didn't...
Yeah, Wokebusters.
Wokebusters.
Well, alrighty. That's our Halloween special. Obviously, next week, it will be back to normal.
Yeah, should be.
This is episode 99, isn't it?
This is episode 99.
Yeah, so next week we will have our re-ranking of all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, we will.
It's kind of like a play on our first episode. So be tuned for...
Did we rank them all in the first episode? I thought we just reviewed
Endgame. No. We reviewed Endgame, and then we ranked all of them.
Yeah, 3 hours.
And that podcast was 3 hours long. I don't know how we talked about Marvel for 3 hours and why people even listen to that for 3 hours. We did.
You're telling me. I remember when we first started recording, and I was telling my dad, like, hey, like, we started the podcast, you should listen to it. He goes, well, how long are your guys' episodes? I'm like, well, the first one was 3 hours. And he's like, the fuck? He's like, no, they should be 30 minutes. He's like, you should cut that shit up. And I'm like, well, we don't talk for 30 minutes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, this one will not be 3 hours. It'll be like an hour.
If we're lucky.
Yeah. That's a lot of movies to rank, to be fair.
I mean, fuck, we're on 45 minutes tonight, and when I looked at it, we were, like, still under 20 minutes. It's like, Christ, we're already ranking the movies? We're so far in already.
Yep.
Yeah, the podcast has definitely turned into something more than I expected it to be, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's definitely been a roller coaster in terms of length. Like, I feel like we'll have some weeks where it's like we barely scrape 30 minutes, and there's other weeks where it's like, fuck, we just did like another hour and a half podcast. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
It's so back and forth. Not to be like we're inconsistent, but when it comes to the amount of time, it is inconsistent because depending on what we talk about, when it comes to the news, like if there's a lot of stuff to talk about gaming, we talk about gaming stuff. If there's new albums, or if there's movies we want to review, I feel like these past, I don't know, maybe past 10, we've like sort of kind of dipped into lower times, but still keeping it relatively consistent and how long it's been. It's just we jump on, talk about whatever 4K movie you may have gotten, gaming news of the week, and especially with the Halloween ones, like review the movie and we're done. It's gonna be nice going into this winter season. Episode 100, so we got a lot going on. But also, there's gonna be so many fucking games coming out, and we're gonna be talking about so much.
Yeah, Call of Duty, like Halo,
Battlefield
comes out in a few weeks. Dying Light got delayed.
Yeah. But it's going to be those games, but like since we're going to be playing them, we're going to be talking about our experiences in them, which is going to be awesome.
Yep. Well, I think that's it. So thank you once again for basically, we'll thank you again next week for the 100th episode, but it's been great to do the podcast. And hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Sorry if the audio is a little scuffed.
Yeah, I'm going to lift it up, but we're using my old mic because my new one is not, the Shure is not as good for two people in the room together.
Right. Well, guys, appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us if you're on Spotify or iHearts, and we will see you next week.
See you later, guys.